Imagine, for a moment, that the world you knew, one where the dollar was king and cash was safety, has already begun to fade away. The headlines may not scream it, the experts may still reassure you, but beneath the surface, the most powerful players have quietly left the table. A silent mechanism has been triggered, and the storm of hyperinflation is no longer a distant forecast. It is unfolding right now as you listen to these words. For decades, the Federal Reserve, America's central bank, stood as the ultimate guardian of financial stability. Whenever inflation threatened to spiral, the Fed would raise interest rates, tighten monetary policy, and project an image of control. Markets would calm, and the public would breathe easy, trusting that the system was sound. But as we entered the second quarter of 2025, something unprecedented happened. The Federal Reserve abruptly halted all tightening measures. No press conference, no explanation, just silence. This silence was not accidental. It was a signal, a hidden message to those who know how to listen. The Fed, the very institution designed to steer the world's largest economy, was quietly admitting that it had lost control. Behind closed doors, the largest banks were grappling with liquidity crises, teetering on the brink of default. Any further tightening, any public acknowledgement of the crisis, might have collapsed the entire financial system. So the Fed did the only thing it could. It let go, hoping no one would notice. But just because the Fed stopped tightening doesn't mean the money stopped flowing. Quite the opposite. Out of sight, money began flooding into the system through back channels, short-term loans, currency swaps, shadowy financial maneuvers invisible to the average person. This was financial sleight of hand, an invisible magic trick. The result? The silent erosion of the dollar's value, day after day. Inflation, once a distant threat, became a silent predator, stalking every transaction, every paycheck, every savings account. The Federal Reserve was no longer the master of inflation. It was its prisoner. How does hyperinflation begin? Not with a crash, but with a whisper. Imagine a bicycle tire, slowly overinflated, bulging a little more each day. The pressure builds quietly until the inevitable explosion. As money supply surges but production stagnates, purchasing power collapses. Prices for food, fuel, and essentials begin to climb. People holding cash panic, rushing to convert their savings into gold, real estate, or any tangible asset that might hold value. Financial bubbles swell to grotesque proportions, then burst, leaving devastation in their wake. Many people trust the Consumer Price Index, the CPI, as their compass. But the CPI is a rearview mirror, reflecting only what has happened, not what is coming. It cannot warn you of the iceberg ahead. While the official numbers may seem stable, the reality on the ground is different. Electricity bills, gasoline, groceries. These costs creep higher month after month. The dollars in your wallet are losing value, quietly, invisibly, while you go about your daily life. The dollar itself is nothing more than a piece of paper, a symbol backed not by gold, but by trust. For generations, that trust was absolute. But now, cracks are appearing. Major economies, China, Russia, India, are moving away from the dollar, trading with each other in their own currencies. These are not isolated incidents. They are signs of a deeper shift. The dollar's status as the world's reserve currency is eroding, and with it, the foundation of American economic power. Trust, it turns out, is not a strategy. The elite understand this. They no longer believe in the old certainties. They are acting, moving their wealth into gold, land, and tangible assets. They are not waiting for things to return to normal. In a world where nothing is certain, trust is a trap, not a plan. The most dangerous signal of all is the Fed's silence. When the central bank stops communicating, when it ceases to provide clear direction, the markets become a ship without a captain. Investors lose confidence. Uncertainty breeds panic. Throughout history, every major financial crisis has begun with silence. Moments when those in power knew the truth but chose not to speak it. While the elite quietly reposition their wealth, the average person is left behind. Warren Buffett, the world's most famous investor, and the largest investment funds have already exited growth stocks and the dollar. They don't announce their moves. They simply act. By the time the public realizes what has happened, it is too late. The ship has already struck the iceberg. The lifeboats are gone. Where's the money going? Not into tech stocks or urban real estate. The flow of capital is shifting to gold, silver, rural land, and other real assets, places to weather the storm. This isn't a passing trend. It's a strategy for survival. The smart money is seeking refuge, not returns. Why don't you see it? Because today's inflation isn't a lightning strike. It's a slow, relentless drip. Every time you pay an electric bill, fill your gas tank, or shop for groceries, a little more of your wealth slips away. The process is so gradual, so insidious, that most people never notice, until it is too late. The Federal Reserve will not warn you. Its actions are silent, its decisions made behind closed doors. While you trust in stable interest rates, secret policies are already in motion. By the time the consequences reach you, your options will be few. Look around the world: Venezuela, Turkey, Argentina. These nations were once prosperous. Their currencies collapsed, not because of war, but because of reckless monetary policy and runaway inflation. The United States is not immune. With its towering national debt, America is vulnerable to the same fate unless it changes course. The turning point has already arrived. The dollar weakens day by day. The dollar index drops. Gold surges past $2,400 an ounce. These are not random fluctuations. They are signals that trust is evaporating, that the system is breaking down. If you don't see it, you're standing in the middle of a crisis without realizing it. And so, you remain on a pilotless ship. The elite have already left. The market drifts, directionless. If you do not act now, you will be the last passenger to fall when the vessel finally collides with disaster. What can you do? Wake up. Take action. Protect your assets. Knowledge is your best defense in a financial storm. Don't wait for the authorities to sound the alarm. By then, it will be too late. History is full of warnings. In every crisis, those who survive are not the ones who trust blindly, but those who prepare. The world as you know it is changing. The dollar's reign is ending. The rules of the game have shifted, and the old strategies no longer work. Look at the evidence. The Federal Reserve is silent. The elite are moving their wealth. The dollar is weakening. Inflation is eroding your purchasing power. Other nations are abandoning the dollar. These are not coincidences. They are the signs of a tectonic shift. You do not have to be a victim. You can choose to see the truth, to take responsibility for your financial future. Diversify your assets. Consider gold, land, and other tangible stores of value. Educate yourself. Stay informed. Do not let the silence of the authorities lull you into complacency. Remember, trust is not a plan. Hope is not a strategy. Only action can protect you in times of uncertainty. As you face this new reality, may you remain alert, make timely decisions, and safeguard the value of your assets. The storm is here, but with knowledge and courage, you can weather it. Stay vigilant, stay proactive, and never forget, in times of crisis, those who act survive, while those who wait are left behind.